All right, so we are rocking and rolling. So first off, my name is Ronan De Jesus, and I see some of the attendees here. Some of you your names sound familiar, so I'm glad you're able to make it to today's session. I've been with the company for a while now, 12 years. I'm delighted to deliver this week's session of our debrief webinar here. Um, First off, I'd like to say that if you have any generic questions, please hold them off till the end. I will be addressing those, after I go through today's session. If you do have any questions, please feel free to type them in the questions box in the control panel. If you have trouble finding that box in the control panel, feel free to email us. Our email is support@capsim.com, like our homepage. You can also reach us by phone. Our toll-free number is 877-477-8787. If you happen to be attending this webinar and you want to call us overseas, you can reach us at 312-477-7200. All right, so as an aside, don't bother taking any notes down. I will be recording this, as I mentioned earlier. You will be able to access this same webinar, only recorded on our site, which I'll show you how to access a bit later on. These webinars are framed at making your life easier, whether you're a professor or whether you're a student. We get a lot of questions, and in my 12 years here, I've gotten to know the kinds of questions that students ask, and so I have a pretty good hunch at what will help students throughout the entire semester. And so that's why we are discussing our topic today, which is the debriefing reports. Over the years, we've built many tools for students. Okay. And there's a range of them. Many of them are helpful. I will be going through, maybe 90% of what we have with you guys today. Some of the stuff that we're going to cover are actually my favorite reports. So let's start out with that. My favorite debrief report is actually called the Analyst Report. It is found under Reports and under Debrief Reports. Okay. Now you can access the menu on the left, obviously by going to our homepage, capsim.com, and logging in. All registered students and professors will have access to this page, this dashboard. All right. So under Reports, Debrief Reports, I am going to go through the Analyst Report, okay, located here. Now, this happens to be my favorite report for a number of reasons. First of all, I think it's really nice and simple. Let me explain it to you. So what we do here is we take 10 really important managerial categories. All right, you'll see them listed here at the top. The categories range from margins all the way down to wealth creation. Okay, each category is worth 100 points. So you can earn 1,000 points per round, and if you play all 8 rounds, you can earn up to 8,000 points. All right. Now, not only is this tool a debrief tool for the students, but professors also use this for grading. So this is one of the reasons why I encourage you guys to certainly use this report. So other than its simplicity, the other reason why I like this report is because it provides feedback. And back years ago when I was learning about the simulation, I actually learned much of what I know from building the feedback report under these 10 categories. So I'll show you guys in a second where that's located. But you'll see here, shaded areas. The non-shaded areas are the categories that I'm not doing well on, and it just so happens that I'm only doing well on financial structure. Okay. Now this is a round by round report. Okay, so whatever round you're in, so if you're in round 4, you'll only be able to get round 4 on the dashboard. Now you do have the option to switch it up here using this drop menu, and you can select whichever round you want to build. Okay, but the default is the current round that you just processed. Okay. Now the feedback is generic. Okay, but it's really good material. As I mentioned, I learned a lot from reading the feedback. Now, you could view the feedback by choosing any one of these categories. Okay, let's just say we're not doing well on financial structure. We're going to choose financial structure. We're going to hit points analysis. The screen will flash, and down below, you'll see a definition of financial structure. You'll see how you can earn more points. And below that, you'll get a real-world sense of why this is important. Okay, so this is a good bridge between the real world and the simulation. Okay, if you were to print this out, this particular category is about 3.5 pages. So it's not that bad of a read. And again, it's, I think it's, the way it was written is very simple to understand, and it's just good material. And, at the end of the day, you're looking to learn, you're also looking to earn a good grade. And so this will help you do just that. Okay. So this is, again, my favorite report. Your professor actually may not use this for grading, but it's still available to you. Use it as a coach. As I mentioned, the information is generic, but it's still pretty good stuff to, to use. All right, so the next debrief report that I'd like to go over is the Rubric debrief. Okay, again, under reports, debrief reports, and the capstone debrief rubric. Now, if you are playing Foundation, it's all, it's pretty much the same. Okay, functionally it's the same. In Foundation, we still have the Analyst Report, we still have the debrief rubric. It's just called Foundation. Okay. Okay, so this is what it is. It's nice and simple as well. The basis of the debrief rubric is to give you some kind of guidance as to how well you're running your company. Okay, you could see here you're awarded points based on meeting certain criteria. Okay, so if you're running into trouble in a certain category, you're going to earn no points, 1 point for being poor, 2 points for satisfactory, and finally 3 points for excellent. Okay, so I'm going to click on, I'm going to click on Capstone Debrief Rubric for round 1. All right, so this is what it looks like. This is my test game. I ran the first round. You can probably tell from my Analyst Report score that not very good. But in any case, you could see all of the, I'd say, components to the debrief. You've got your ratios like ROS, asset turnover, leverage. You've got also an emergency loan and your margins and so on. So basically what the system does is it takes this rubric, it looks at your results, and then it finds where you are, whether you're in excellent condition, satisfactory condition, or poor condition, and of course in trouble. Okay. Um, the problem with this report is that it doesn't really provide any feedback. Okay. This is an elaborate report, helpful, but again, it lacks the feedback that I think students are looking for. But it's a good snapshot for performance. Okay. All right. So let me click the back button, and let me show you another report. All right. So under reports, debrief reports, I want to go over the round analysis with you. The round analysis is probably fourth best report as far as what professors use for grading. Okay, the round analysis is very, very simple. Remember back in elementary school, you were awarded stars for good performance, raising your hand or whatever. This is very similar. This report awards stars for meeting certain criteria. And the criteria is over here. All right, so if you made money, okay, you're awarded a star. If your margin is above 30%, you will receive a star. Emergency loans, if you avoided it. So again, the emergency loan is a liquidity crisis. You'll be awarded a star. Inventory, if you manage your inventory well, which is not carrying too much and not stocking out. A difficult star to earn, but possible. And then finally, if your stock price went up. Okay, the stock price algorithm is pretty simple. It has a show me the money attitude. So if you make more money compared to last year, typically your stock price will rise, and so you would earn a star. So that is the round analysis. Now, the round analysis will give you however many stars you earned for that round, but you can't go back. So if you're in round 5 and you want to look at how many stars you earned in round 4, you won't be able to see that, unfortunately. We do have the ability to see how many stars you earn in total, and you can see it here. But as far as finding out, previous rounds star summary, you won't be able to see that. Okay, obviously we can manually calculate it for you, but yeah, we'd have to do it manually. This report also provides feedback. Actually, it's I'd say not as helpful as the analyst report, but it does dive into detail with each category that you can earn a star in. Okay, and here's a quick glance at the feedback. And really the feedback is here in the analysis portion. Okay, so the emergency loan, the analysis, watch your cash flow management, essentially. Okay. All right, so let me show you the second to last report. And it is going to be the final score relative. Excuse me. So I'm a big finance person, so I actually like this report. This actually has no feedback whatsoever. This is purely mathematical. So what we do here is we take 8 different success measures, okay, cumulative profit all the way down to asset turnover. And what we're doing here is we're basically comparing a team's value with the best value in the industry. So essentially, we're comparing apples to apples. Now, the further you're away from the best value in the industry, the less points you're going to earn. Now, the beauty of this report is that your professor can allow you to choose how you want to be graded. After all, you are developing your company's own strategy, so it only makes sense for you to choose, your weights. Now, you can choose any number of weights you want on the 8 success measures. But typically, professors want you to choose between 2 and 4 success measures, and they have to add up to 100%. And the reason is because the scoring system is based on a 100-point scale. So you can earn between 0 and 100, and it works like a typical grading scale. And as far as a professor goes, it's a lot easier for them to grade it if it's 0 to 100. Typically, professors curve this report. Okay. Now, 12% across the board and 16% on market cap are the default values. Okay. So the professor can actually use the default. The professor can also have you choose your own weightings. Or lastly, they can choose your weights. Okay. This is the final score relative. Again, to summarize, we just apply this formula. Okay. You take the sum of the scores, and it'll give you a total. And the scores will fall between 0 and 100. All right, so lastly, the balanced scorecard. Okay, the balanced scorecard is actually the most popular report that we have. I'd say about 70% of our professor community uses the balanced scorecard for grading. And the reason is, because textbooks cover the balanced scorecard, the real world uses a balanced scorecard. And it's really a balanced look at your performance. Okay, it's not just examining your company from an economic standpoint. Now, you can only see your team's score. So I'm running Andrews, and I got 40 out of a possible 82 points. Now, the balanced scorecard in total is worth 1,000 points. Okay, round by round, you're earning points. And as you get to the later rounds, there's more possible points that you can earn. Okay, now at the end, there's a recap. The recap is a summation of how well your company is run from a bird's eye. Okay, uses different criteria from the round by round data. Okay, let me click on my 40, and you could see the breakdown. This is really important. Okay, you could see the 4 legs of the scorecard: financial, internal, business process, customer, learning and growth. Their components are listed below it. You can click on a component and it'll give you a scoring legend. So as of the first round, if I made 7 million, I would earn max credit. And as I make less money, I'll receive less and less credit linearly. Okay, and if I made $1 million or less, I would receive no credit. All right. The recap uses different criteria. Same legs, but different criteria to describe those legs. So notice the under financial, it's stock price, profits, leverage. For the recap, it uses market cap, sales, and the emergency loan. And the values are a lot greater. Okay. Now over time, in theory, you're going to build the number of points here because it's a cumulative, or it's a summation of all the rounds that you've played. Okay. Now, there's no such thing as a perfectly run company. That's the disclaimer here. So it's impossible to earn 1,000 points here, impossible to earn 8,000 points on the Analyst Report also. So expect that your professor well, I wouldn't expect. You can probably assume that your professor will curve this report, and you can also rest assured that, you know, um, 800 points out of 1,000 is pretty darn good, even though as far as the percentage goes, it's 80%. It's pretty darn good. Okay. Let me think if there's anything else that I'd like to go over on the balanced scorecard. No, I think that's it. Okay, so does anyone have any questions? I'd like to set aside some time here to answer any of your questions. Again, you can enter any question you have under the questions forum in your control panel. I'll pause a little bit for a little bit to see if anyone has any questions. Now remember, all of these are designed to help you, okay? Make better decisions, perform better in the sim, and of course, learn more about business. All right, so, I do have a question here. All right, one person asked, is it typical to have lower scores in customer awareness during the initial rounds? Yes. Yeah, remember, you're taking over a mediocre company. It's mediocre in every way: margins, awareness, accessibility, the position of the products, everything. So yeah, it is possible. Another question came in. Any tips for using these reports to figure out whether production needs automation or not? Yes. The reason I pause is because it doesn't really clue you in. I mean, it's kind of hidden. Let's first talk about the analyst report, or I'm sorry, the balanced scorecard to answer this question. So profit, okay, profit is driven by really the spread between your sales and your costs, right? Now, what does automation do? It helps improve your labor costs. So the lower your labor costs, the more likely you're able to become more profitable. So consequently, you can earn more points here if you automated your lines. Now, there's pros and cons to every decision you make in the game. Okay, so automation is expensive. It also impacts R&D times, so you just got to be careful. Also, your automation affects your contribution margin directly, right? So if you automate, you're likely to have higher margins. Okay. The analyst report, some of the categories there: wealth creation. Let me go to the analyst report. Margins, profits. They indirectly clue you in on automating your lines. Now, if you're playing Capstone, prices are falling by 50 cents every round. So, there's a lot of pressure on each company's cost structure. And one of the best ways to control your costs is through automation. Okay. I hope that answered your question. Here's another one. Is there a way to see this these reports for the next round using our forecasts. In the simulation, we give you pro forma. So you can see your pro forma balance sheet, income statement, cash flows. But we also give you a pro forma balance scorecard. Okay, so here's a little bit of a clue. There's a high correlation between the analyst report and the balance scorecard. And I would say about 80% of the professors that use the simulation will use either one of those reports. So if you see a pretty solid score in your pro forma balance scorecard, you're likely to do well on the analyst report as well. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Outside of that, outside of the pro forma balance scorecard, we actually give you a pro forma ratio worksheet, but don't put too much emphasis on your pro formas because they're only pro formas. They're only as good as your forecasts. Okay. I hope that answered your question. Is there a way to track progress through the sim for different categories? A graph that shows my company's profits for rounds 1 through 8. Is there a way to track progress through the sim for let me think here. Good question. I don't think that there's a chart that will actually show your rounds 1 through 8 progress. I mean, there's the stock price summary. Yeah, see, this is the round by round data. Let me see here. In the Courier or the Fast Track. Oh, actually, yeah, you know what? There's the financial summaries here that you can use. It'll give you, the data from rounds 1 through 8. Okay. No graph though. The Courier gives you a stock price chart, so you could see your progress every round, but that's about it. All right, let's see if there's any other questions. Okay, there is another question. Prior to Prior to finalizing round decisions, when looking at the balanced scorecard, is the score the most that you can receive if all forecasts and financial decisions are met, or can you score higher? You can score higher. The thing is, your pro formas are driven by your forecasts. Okay, now typically companies are producing a little more, right? And the reason why they produce a little more is because just in case you have more demand than you're forecasting, you want to make sure that you have some extra, right, to sell. So there is a possibility that you could do a little better. You can also do a little worse as well, okay, if you don't meet your forecasts. Let's see if there's another question. Okay, Sanjay, should you adjust your forecast by using the balance scorecard points before completing the round decisions? All right. Listen, I don't want you guys to run your company based on what you see in the balance scorecard. Okay? Run your company based on your strategy, understanding the customers in each segment, and try to develop, a good way of forecasting. To be honest, that's the secret of the sim, understanding what your customers want and forecasting. If you do those two pretty well, you will be competitive in all of these reports that I showed you today. Okay. All right, let's see if there's another question. Okay. Oh. All right, not sure if you can answer this, but is it better to automate or increase capacity to lower labor costs? That's kind of outside of the debrief reports. Email us at support@capsim.com or give us a call. Okay, this is pretty specific to your game. Our toll free is 877-477-8787. Okay, are there any more questions? All right, looks like that's it. Well, so in conclusion, use all of these reports as resources. They're there to help you, not just for grading. Let me show you guys how you can view this webinar again and how you can register for future webinars. All right, so go to our homepage, capsim.com, go to events, all right, and scroll down below here, click on webinars, click on student webinars, and you can view the previous recordings that we've done in the past over here. And where did my mouse go? Oh, there we go. And then, well, looks like we're not having another webinar beyond this. But you can actually register for another one if there's a link. We may have another one by going to the same area and just clicking on the link on the topic, and you'll be able to enter your information. Okay. Thank you very much. Again, if you have any questions, contact us anytime. We're delighted to help you. My name is Ronan DeJesus, or you can call me Ron if you call. And it was a pleasure. Thank you very much.